Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Saucepans and Sidesteps podcast. Joining me, Big M, as always, the one and only Mr. HG Rugby, Huw Griffin, and friend of the pod and returnee, John Ashman. Good evening, my friends. How are we?
Evening.
Good evening.
Good.
I'm good, thanks.
Good. Always nice to have a smiley face. And Huw is the clothing connoisseur, but you seem to have this season's leisure kit on. Is that it?
Not this season. I don't actually know what season it is, but it started from safe from a while ago. I think this cost me like £6 off Vinted. It's beautiful.
Beautiful. But John, that's a very nice VX3 Scarlet t-shirt for there. Now, I was looking at that, and my concern was obviously the red badge on the red shirt. So I can see it a bit for there, but how prominent is it? Can you see it from a little bit away, like?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's sort of glossy against the matte background, so it catches the light and what have you. I mean, the blue shirt obviously has got the white logo.
Yeah, I like the dark one. I think the dark one will be for me until well, it depends on what the away kit looks like when it's finally announced officially. You know, that's going to be the turning point on what I decide to get this season.
The third kit, the white one with the splashes on it, that actually looks better in real life, as it were, than on photographs. Photographs doesn't do it justice.
Oh, that's good to know, because personally, I'm not a fan of the photos, and I haven't, I'm not in a position to get down there and have a quick look in the shop anymore, which it does break my heart, actually. I used to love just popping down every couple of weeks or so just for a little rummage around and have a look. So, boys, there was a little bit of something called Rugby on this past weekend, the first competitive game of the season. But prior to that, we had a small Save Out Scarlets march. First, I just want to shout out my apologies for my incorrect timings and whatnot last week. I really should have double checked beforehand. But you know what life is like when you're doing fan podcasts. We're all volunteers. Timing gets stretched, so apologies for there. But John, were you at the march? Because I know obviously you were at the game.
No, I couldn't make it for the march, unfortunately. I was following it on sort of socials and seeing pretty much every post that came up. It looked well attended. You know, there was a lot of support. There was a lot of love there. You could see that.
Well, I don't know. I think it was led by the mayor. They had a big banner, and there was all the way down the street. I think.
Yeah, it was down the middle of the road. Like,
yeah,
it looked to be a good few hundred there, and like the pictures.
Yes.
Obviously, the man who was formerly known as Pringle, I don't know where he is, but he had a nice video of part of the march, which is up on our socials if anyone wants to have a little look at that. And it looks like it's going on for a while. Obviously, there's a main chunk in the middle of the main road down the front. You know, the mayor, I think it's Dave Hodges, is there, like flew in on his own dime as well for this, which is, amazing. Just shows what it means to a lot of people. And it just looked like there was so many people there, and it trailed so far back.
Yeah, the video that Benji shared, it was all the way back up the street. You couldn't see the end of it.
No, you couldn't, and that is intense. That's what makes it so much better, because we're talking, they got to the ground 2.5 hours before kickoff. Nothing was even open then. I think they were probably still playing a little festival on the training field at that point. So to get that many people there is outstanding, and full recognition to everyone there. It was absolutely brilliant, and I'm so thankful to everyone, because obviously Huw will be in the same boat as me. We can't just pick a couple hours before the game, let's go for a march from bloody Sandy Water Park to the game. It's just not something we're capable of doing anymore for me, or at all for Huw living so far away. And we do have a good proportion of fans that live around not just the England, Scotland, Ireland, but obviously further afield as well. We got fans in in Russia and things.
When you see it's match day, you see people posting it's time to make the 140-mile round trip, and we've spoken to people like when we went to Judgment Day, met people who were saying, "Oh yeah, we don't even live local, but we get a season ticket because we love the team and we make the trip because we love coming to watch them." So I think that came across. It's great to see. Obviously, they were having a sing song, lots of pictures. It was great to see the Scarlets post it all over their socials as well. Just the kind of thing that you'd hope to be happening in the current situation. And, fair play to everybody who got that together and organised it. I think even the Scarlets fans who weren't able to attend took a lot of heart from it.
The other thing that did show, or I was really impressed with, was just how many families and, it was a broad spectrum. It wasn't just sort of a select few blokes, as it were. Lots of families, huge age range there. It's encouraging to see. And the numbers in the stadium as well for the match.
Yeah, 9,000. I think the official attendance was,
yeah.
So which is a great baseline. I think after the season after we won the league, we were averaging 10,000. So it would be great to see if we could get that sort of number in every week. That's for club rugby. That's exactly the level that we think we need to be.
Yeah, for club rugby in Wales as well, that is incredible. We've always been one of obviously the top, either the top or second top in terms of attendances in recent memory, at least. So 9,000, absolutely outstanding. I would love for that to be our lowest attendance of the season, but we'll see how things go. We will see how things go. So on to the game itself. John, a little bit back to you now. Obviously, you were our fan in the ground. What was the atmosphere like pre-game, during? What was it like down there? Just to be back.
I've missed it, I must admit. To get, as I say, most of the North Stand, most of the South Stand sold out. And even sort of 15 minutes before kickoff, when you're looking across and you think, oh, there's not that many there. And then all of a sudden it just sort of filled. But yeah, it was a positive atmosphere. I think most people were confident of a good start to the season, which more of that anon. And yeah, again, there were people there. I mean, there's a family next to us. I'm not sure how often they've been in the past. They've got a family season ticket. And again, there was sort of people, sort of 7 or 8. It was an enjoyable atmosphere. People meeting, actually people essentially meeting for the first time, and it's like they've known them for years.
Yeah, because we've all got the Scarlets in common.
Well, yeah, that's always been the thing with the Scarlets. It's always been a friendly atmosphere, I found.
Yeah. So are you in the south or the north, John?
We're in the North Stand.
You're in the north. I only spent one season over in the north, and I was booted out of there by the missus pretty sharpish. She weren't a fan of it for whatever reason. So
what's different? Like what? Because obviously you got the terraces on one side. Were you standing or what?
No, we've always been seated. My Christ, we'd have to go back to about something like 10 years to go back to the last time I would have been able to stand at a rugby match. I can't even stand watching a bloody local game. I gotta take a camping chair.
Was it too sunny in the North Stand? What was the matter?
I'll be honest, I can't really remember. It was our second season as a family going. I think it was just the way we were specifically. We didn't have the greatest seats in the south, so we thought, oh look, we got this better seats over in the north. We'll try that. And I think because we had it was just well we had 6 of us going at the time. My eldest tended to not come that often at that point. And I just think it was just where we were with the kids. It was a bit is a bit noisier. There's a bit more of an I don't say a bit more of an atmosphere side, but it just feels noisier. It feels as though more things are going on. Like the south is not quiet by any means, but it seems slightly calmer, as in slightly you bit of space for thinking in your head. As such, there's always a lot of chatter going around in the north, which I liked personally. I did enjoy that. It was a fair bit more singing at the time. I don't want to say it's the same anymore. I really am struggling to think of the reasons why. I know she didn't like it. One of the many things that is weird and wonderful about her. But so, what were the offerings then, John? I'm always looking at to seeing how we're doing in terms of the match day, food and beverage sort of side of things. We didn't run out of any beers by halftime or nothing like that today. Well, not today, on Saturday.
No, there was still beer in the Tanner Bank afterwards, so that's always a bonus.
What about it in the actual north stand? I mean, I'm sure is it curry and chips over there? I'm sure I heard someone saying it was curry and chips over there a few years ago.
That we didn't see. You've got nachos.
Well, I think it was nachos in the south. I can remember it was literally my last season, so we're going, I think that was 22-23. And someone was saying at the back end of the 21-22 season, they're saying, oh, they got bloody curry and chips over in the north next season. I was like, oh, I'm not going to get the missus to swap for that. It's good enough for me, but I'm glad I didn't miss out on that one.
No, unfortunately, I didn't see any.
No, just your regular pies, pasties, burgers, hot dogs, same sort of stuff on. So.
Anything you can hold in your hand.
You get crepes over in the north because we.
How long of this podcast are we going to spend talking about food in the Scarlets?
We've only been on like 5 minutes, or have you been timing us? Have we been longer?
It's niche, mate. It's niche.
Oh, come on! I'm reminiscing. It's been a long time. Well, it's been a couple of years since I've been a season ticket holder, and I'm just reminiscing. We always used to have a crepe over in the south stand. It was really nice to get. I can't remember what the name of the place was now, but they got a day of ciders over in Bury Port Harbour. But it's really, really nice, really good stuff. Okay, we'll leave the food talk then. We'll have to get a dedicated podcast just for that. We'll have to send John round all.
If the Scarlets want to send us the catering match day organised person to interview, talk about feeding the masses on a match day, happily interview him.
That sounds like an idea.
Yeah.
Scarlets, you've heard. We want to hear all about feeding the masses. Feeding 9,079 people against Munster, if my numbers are correct on that. So, on to the game. Obviously, if you listen to this, you've either watched the game or you know the result. And unfortunately, we did not start the season the way we had hoped we would. A loss to Munster. Now, I've seen a lot of people obviously go straight for the negative. It seems to be a very Westphalian thing that if we're not winning and on top, it's the worst thing to ever happen. But to be honest, even though I think we are very undercooked, not really a preseason. Technically speaking, only one preseason game proper. I thought there was good signs in there, and we weren't far off. We left a few chances out there. There was a really, the gilt edge opportunity from McLeod when he just knocked the ball on. I mean, that try goes over. Obviously, the momentum of the match is different, but that means we're going to win the game at the 80th. Then instead of chasing 2 bonus points, it changes the dynamic. It changes the opinion of everything. So, for me, bitterly disappointed. honestly thought we would have been able to start with a win, but could have been a hell of a lot worse. Really could. Don't know about you, Huw.
It's actually our closest margin to Munster in 3 years, which just goes to shows how bad some of the performances have been. Like last season was, I don't think we touched the ball apart from Max Page's try. But yeah, I think if we just like cover the negatives first, because I think they're just so obvious. And Mark, like you need to come in on this. Is that I felt like the pack struggled, and we'll divide it into two. We'll talk about the ball carrying and the scrum. So if we talk scrum first, give you your moment. We were going backwards at times, and it was troubling to see, and it was reminiscent of a couple of seasons ago. We thought we fixed it last season, whereas this one was a bit of a throwback. So what's gone on there, do you think?
Honestly, I haven't watched the game back, so I haven't had a chance to really look into each individual scrum and try and pinpoint what the issue was. A main thing for me will be the fact that Harry Thomas has come in. Obviously, yes, he's been training with the senior squad last season, and obviously this now, but now he's playing. Now he's in a competitive game, and it doesn't matter how much you replicate things in training. You can't replicate, real in-game scenarios. You can get like maybe 85-90%, but you can never truly replicate it. So I think there's some issues there. Maybe getting the adjustments right. It could literally be really, really small things. Like just maybe they're not sort of 100% comfortable with the way everyone is binding on. It could have been a case of they were in an order that they hadn't practiced for whatever reason. Obviously, Max Douglas was obviously shifted up, and then what was the name? Alec Hepburn came in as well. So it might have been a case of they hadn't quite practiced scrummaging in that formation with, let's say, I don't know, with Douglas Ball and Hepburn. Like I don't know how much time they spend on this scrummaging, but there's lots of different combinations and different things that can affect your scrum. Again, it is the first game of the season, so we do have to reserve judgment for now. We got a couple penalties out of them. That's always good. I remember the first scrum. They just completely flopped his bind and went to the floor. Thank you, assistant ref, for giving us a pen for that one. But all in all, I think it's too soon to ultimately judge. It is worrying, because it'd be stupid to say it wasn't worrying. But I can't pinpoint exactly where that went wrong. If we go later into the match, Kirby Mile comes in. He's only been there a week, like literally a week. We got Hawk that's returning from injury, so he's going to be a while before he's.
I don't think
to where
Henry
he
Thomas
was.
had a preseason either.
No, he didn't. He was literally had his operation, and that's it. I like before the squad was announced, I was there literally scratching my head, going, "Okay, we've only seen Hawk as one of our senior players as a tight end, and he's on his way back from the major Achilles injury." I was thinking, no Archer Holtz, still no Archer Holtz. He's listed on the injury list. Said list too many times then, and obviously Henry didn't play, so that was a concern at the time. But
I think one of the other concerns, as far as injuries go, is losing Sam Lousy in the warm up. Being pulled 10 minutes before the start of the game, which must have thrown a hell of a spanner in the works.
Yeah, and to be fair to Lousy, he works hard in the scrum. A lot of people look at him. He's more of an athletic build, but the weight he does have and the work you see him put in, like you can see if you get a side angle and you look at the foot movement, you look at the angle at which their knees are and how much they're actually pushing on. So you'll see some boys, their just legs are locked out, but you'll always see some Lousy trying to push forward, giving everything he's got, not just holding it steady, trying to move it forward, and having that coming behind you, not someone holding you in place, but someone pushing you forward, it makes a big difference. So I don't want to say it's our scrum has declined. I'll give it's the first game. There's a lot of extenuating circumstances until we get Marnus, Heza, and Matthias. Until we get our full, let's say, front five going in our pack. I'm not going to say whether or not our scrum has declined or not. I really don't think that would be fair at this point in time.
Fair enough. Shall we talk about? Because for me, I've seen obviously people like you said, Mark, because we lost, people are like, oh, it's all terrible, and there's a lot of cliches been going around. And I started watching in the last 5 minutes of the first half because there was lots of rugby on Saturday, so I was catching other stuff, and I was like, oh, this isn't going great. And then I've gone back and I've watched the full first half later. And I'm like, actually, we weren't terrible. Like there were some moments in there where we could have and maybe should have scored in that first half and didn't. So I've picked out a few examples. I'll get your boys' thoughts on this. So like first opportunity of the match was the cross kick from Joe Hawkins to Ellis Mee off a scrum, which is perfectly executed, absolutely perfectly executed. But then Ellis Mee kind of forces the pass to Blair Murray, and the chance is gone. Now I don't know, Mark, if he holds on to this, maybe if the kick's a little bit more in front of him, he doesn't have to slow up. It's try time. Maybe if he doesn't force the pass to Blair Murray, there's obviously the opportunity goes on a bit longer.
Yeah, I think that's really fair. Not sure if it's try time, if it is that much in front of him, but he's definitely in with a good opportunity, and then you want to recycle the ball from there. I mean, I'm trying to, if you can just pause there. Yeah, so he had two other players in and around him. So he had Blair, and I can't see who the other one is, but I'm thinking,
I think
is
it's
that Joe?
Yeah.
So you had Blair and Joe there to secure the ruck and secure the ball. So it's not a case of he only had Blair there. It was either forced a pass or we're definitely conceding a pen or a turnover. So yeah, it would have been nice to see him recycle the ball there and go from there. But it's shown, what we are probably looking to see from Joe Hawkins this season. They did play a lot of that dual playmaker. Hawkins stood at 10 quite a bit. So it's nice to see that he can put a crossfield kick in, which, it's not an easy
Because Johnny
skill.
tried to do one at the end of the game and it wasn't very good.
No, it's really not an easy skill to get that weight right, the angle and everything. So, kudos to him for that one. Let's hope that's the worst of the ones we see this year.
Yeah, next one. Missing one. Yeah, so that's number one. Number two, getting the creative attackers into the game. So we've got the ball in Munster's half, got a couple of rucks, gone backwards a little bit, but then it goes to Hawkins at first receiver, like you said, pulls it back to Sammy. Sammy, Blair beats a man, wizard feet. Then Ellis Mee, it's a 2-on-1. Ellis Mee keeps it in hand and drops it. So I'm not about calling out Ellis Mee, especially not in the first game of the season, but another one where maybe if he gives that pass, Tommy Rogers down the wing, and we know what a lethal finisher he is.
Yeah, obviously there's still men coming across, but you do have to give that. I understand why he hasn't. He's thinking he can beat this man that's coming on, go through that little gap, and then it is a proper 2-on-1 against I'm going to say the trailing fullback. I'm not sure exactly who it is. I can understand why he's made that decision, but sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't. It just is what it is. But it shows our intent. It shows what we can do. Obviously, it's working on being clinical now, because we're not in pre-season anymore. Not that we ever really were, considering how we went. I'm just going to hit that a few times today.
Well, speaking of being clinical, let's talk about the McLeod chance. So this is direct from the kickoff. Sammy, perfect hang time, perfect.
Go on, Tommy.
He's put it on a postage stamp, and that's why Tom Rogers is first choice for Wales on the wing at the moment, claiming that in the air. Tain comes in to play scrum half. Then it's fairly basic rugby a little bit, but what's interesting is it's off 10. So Sammy touches the ball after every ruck here. So we're all completely attacking off 10, which I think shows the intent for this season. This is Sammy calling all the shapes. So we've gone from one touchline to the other. And then it's a lovely tip on from Josh here. Tain does great to shog off their loose head prop. And then, obviously this should be try time. So you've got these 3 opportunities here. This is one manufactured direct from the kickoff. And kickoffs were, restarts were a weakness for us last season. So you've got there, it was 13-0 at half time. But we've got 3 opportunities there to, if not score a try, in the case of the last one, then get very close to scoring one. And then the second half is 21-all. So this is why I'm saying we weren't terrible. And I thought, for the record, Munster were very, very good in this game. I was impressed by them. So we've been beaten by a good side that a lot of people are expecting to be top 2, top 4 come the end of the season. And they played well. But this is why I'm saying it's not terrible, that I'm not panicking, because we did have good moments where you think maybe 2-3 matches in, they stick. And I am seeing, I saw someone write about how the Scarlets' backline was star-studded and didn't fire. I think that's harsh. I think it was the first game of the season. I think there is still the cohesion there. It's just a couple of balls didn't go to hand.
I mean, say 1 or 2 of them opportunities come off in the first half, and that's 5 tries. That's most likely a different result, and for what is essentially 2 extra passes to get us over the try line, that is literally the difference in them saying it didn't fire to wow, they were absolutely amazing. Is the margins are so fine in people's heads. It's quite unbelievable. Obviously, there are a lot of work-ons, but for me, it's always going to come back to that match fitness aspect. We did not look ready. A lot of, I don't want to pin out anyone specifically. I think it was probably across the board, but no one really fired at 100%. I think probably Tom Rogers was probably our best player in terms of where we're used to seeing them in their own game.
Yeah.
So,
I think just the one thing that made me most worried was the attacking at the end. So on 36 minutes, so we get a penalty. Sammy kicks it to touch, gets it right on the 5 meter. The maul doesn't really go anywhere, but we get a penalty off the back of it. And then we do a tap and go. And I just don't understand why we did a tap and go. I don't understand why we wouldn't go to the corner again or go for a scrum where we've got space, we can get our backs on the ball, and we know that Dwayne Peel loves a set play. So for me, this was a strange decision, and it didn't come off. And to be honest, again, Mark, going back to the pack, with each ruck, it felt like we were going backwards. So that was kind of the worry for me.
Yeah, it wasn't great watching our ball carrying, especially the carries into contact. It's harsh, but again, I think we do have to reserve judgment because of our match fitness aspect. None of these boys have match fitness. They literally do not. One run out against the Dragons is all they've had. A lot. I got a lot of respect for Llandudno and Quins, especially Quins, for winning that 40-minute game. But they are SRC sides. They're not professional quality players. That's don't get me wrong. That's a great starting point for warming your boys back up into playing again. But that's not a full hit out. We've literally had 1 hit out against the Dragons, and that is nowhere near enough. I know people talk about the risk of injury in pre-season going in, but you can get injured in the first game. There's a risk of injury every single time you go out there. You can't let that be a reason not to get your squad fully prepared as best as possible for the season. I know it is the norm. Like Munster only played 2 games, but their 2 games were against Gloucester and Bath, and I believe they played 2 different 15s in both games for each half. So slightly better than us, and it did seem to show they were a lot more in line with each other. In terms of the forwards carrying, I mean, yeah, Tane hits up. Tane was again one of our better players. I know you've done a stats drop for him on
yeah,
our
I'll see if I can find
socials.
it.
He was really good. He should have had a try assist added to this
Added
as
to them
well.
stats, yeah.
But obviously the pass was, a little bit behind McLeod. So that is the one thing I will change, Tane. Just put the pass in front of the man.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I was 80 for the audio listeners. Probably read this out, shouldn't I? 80 minutes, 60 meters, which is most of anybody. 16 carries, most of anybody. 11 passes, which is good going for a forward. 8 tackles, 8 line out takes. We know how important he is. I think he's the best line out loose forward in Wales. 2 line breaks, 2 defenders beaten, 1 offload, 1 dominant hit, 1 try, which was obviously his fantastic intercepts. And importantly for Tane Plumtree, 0 penalties conceded. Which someone replied to that and said, "I don't believe you," and I was like, "Don't take it with Opta, mate. Don't talk to me. I don't. I'm not here to have arguments about the official stats."
Yeah, in terms of that with Plumtree, jump onto Big M's Twitter, and my pinned feed is a nice little one on Plumtree for when he got selected for a Wales squad last season, in terms of how many penalties he was giving away last season, because he does give away penalties, but he lives on the edge. So I'm comfortable with him giving away a penalty a game.
Don't say that, because if he's listening, he'll think, "Oh, great, I'll go out and I'll nut someone next week." Like, just no, Tane. No penalties is good.
No penalties is really, 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 really good, and that goes across the board for every single person in that 23. If you're going to nut someone, please don't do it out in Ireland. Not against Connacht. Not against anyone, please.
Yeah.
No, save it for one of the Welsh Shield games. That'd be fun. I'm trying to think of
Who else do we want to watch? What did we think of Hawkins on his debut?
I thought he was okay. I thought he looked good in what he was trying to do. I'm trying to put my mind back over Munster's tries to see where they came from, and I don't want to say
them
they came from middle.
deep. A lot of them came from quite deep, so it was a line break far out that we didn't recover from. I can't recall that many came from close range. I don't think it was kind of phase after phase. To be fair, like I said, I think Munster played very well and they looked sharp. It didn't look like their first game of the season, which obviously it was. So yeah, it maybe wasn't the kind of Munster we were expecting, maybe, because they've got a new coach, obviously, from Super Rugby.
Yeah, they do. They got Clayton Muck
McMillan.
something. That's the one. And let's be honest, we saw what he did when he took over at the Chiefs. Obviously, Warren Gatland leaves Wales. He shows how great of an actual coach he is by taking Chiefs to, rock bottom. And Clayton takes over, and he basically turns them into, well, just shy of champions.
Three finals in a row.
He was so close. He deserved to have a winner's medal from that. So it is really, heartbreaking for the guy. But selfishly, I hope that record continues. If we meet Munster in the final at some point, I'd like a bit of a repeat. So Clayton, you can keep the losing final streak going, please.
We should have told him this game was a final. Then we've been all right.
Oh yeah. Why didn't
But coming back to Hawkins, I agree with you. You can totally see what the thinking is, and you can see how having a genuine actual playmaker at 12 is how they want to use that to kind of create that doubt in opposition's defense of, just because it is the 12 who's holding the ball doesn't mean anything, because they're just playing as a second 10.
Yeah. I mean, my big concern is him playing 12, is him wearing that 12 shirt. Because if he's wearing the 12 shirt, I mean, Sammy's wearing the number 10, and then we have no one. Absolutely no one behind. So obviously we spoke about our depth
Blair Murray.
recently. Yeah, Blair Murray, yeah, Eddie James. but when we talk in terms of our squad, the next pair of boys at fly off, I think they're both 19, is young Ellis Price with Quins and Stephen Jack Jones, who's now back playing with Llandudno after playing a couple of games for his hometown club Aberystwyth. So that is the main concern for me, is the fact that we can't change it up that much. We don't have a different style 10 to bring off the bench. Obviously, yes, we could bring Johnny on, or we could bring Eddie on and shift Hawkins into 10. But I don't think that would change a great deal of things. So my concern is obviously one of, if we take a knock, what's plan B? What's plan C? So that's where
plan C is the worry. Plan B is
from.
okay. Plan C is the worry.
Yeah. But obviously, we had a few new signings in this game. He's not a new signing, but obviously Harry Thomas is, he hasn't graduated the senior academy, but he's made his first start in a Scarlet's 15 in a competitive game. So, congratulations for him as a 20-year-old, Generally,
Dwayne was pleased with him. Dwayne called him out at the end of the game, said, yeah, he's done well. He can be proud of himself.
Yeah, he can be proud of himself. Personally, obviously different opposition, under 20s, etc., SRC. I've seen him have much better games, but obviously standard is different. So bearing that in mind, but I think there's a lot more to come from him. I'll be honest, I'm assuming he's going to be in that 23, whether or not he's starting next week or whether he's on the bench. It's going to be one of the two unless he's injured. I think by the time we go to South Africa, nice 3 games under his belt, I think he's going to be adjusted. He's going to know what he needs to do, and we're going to start seeing more of the player we saw for Wales 20s during the Six Nations and Junior World Cup. So that's great.
But again, isn't this the problem with having such a short pre-season? That basically they're getting used to the competitive match at the senior level with very little warm-up.
Yeah, I banged this drum. I banged this drum repeatedly every year. I know how you were with me to a certain extent on that as well. They're learning on the field. They're learning in those matches where mistakes do count. Like if we talk about Harry's throw-in, he had one overthrow and 1 steal, which that's absolutely fine. A steal is a steal. I'm doing that. That's more the whole unit's fault. And the overthrow,
credit the opposition as well.
Yeah, you got to credit the opposition.
Because when we were stealing balls for fun last year, we said it was because we were amazing. So
yeah, and then obviously the overthrow, it really weren't that high. I think it was Douglas that was going up, and you could just see his fingertips just miss it. So it could have been a timing issue. So good start from throwing in. Obviously,
if we're going to have a go guys for missing 1 throw from a dozen lineouts, then we're not having a real conversation, are we?
Exactly. Yeah. So other boys, I'm trying to run through now.
Tristan Davis, I think, was the other debutant.
Yeah. I said beforehand to a few people that I haven't seen a great deal of Tristan, so I can't say anything of him. And
I was surprised he started, to be honest.
Yeah,
I thought he would be lower down the pecking order, in all honesty.
Yeah, like obviously I've said to you boys, during the match, from that cameo, I don't understand how he was starting. He could become an amazing player. He could be doing things in training that we are not seeing, and it just didn't quite come through on the pitch on that day. But from what we did see, I hope it was an off day, a real off day, because obviously we've got Ben Williams, who's the same age as him, who 2 years ago was running riot during our massive back row injury crisis, and he served us so well. As I think he's 6'2", So whether or not that extra couple inches is a difference in terms of thinking, oh, well, he can turn into a line-out forward or not, I don't know. But surprised to see him start, for one, and I'm hoping there's better to come. There's got to be better to come, because for a man of his size and stature, and I firmly believe that
He's for the kids, to be fair.
Yes, size helps. It's not all about size. You can be 5'8" and be an absolute cannonball and blow people apart. You don't have to be 6'6", 130 kilograms to blow people away with your carrying game. It doesn't matter how tall you are or however you are. What is it? Speed times strength equals force. So you can run at people.
I'm not sure that's exactly physics, but I'll let it go.
You know what I mean? It's
mass times acceleration, but
that's
it's
the
fun.
one. There we go. So it's not just about size. So
So jury's out after one game.
Jury's out. Yeah, it's safe to say we can't judge anybody on one game. They deserve an opportunity to really show themselves, get comfortable, and play their best. Who else did we have? Obviously, we've just spoken about Joe. Onto the bench, Kirby, second debut, done well when he came back on. He looked fit, to be fair, which was a concern.
Yeah.
So great to have another local lad back in the team. I don't think obviously we managed to interview Kirby during the week. I don't
check it out.
Check it out. I don't believe producer Lee got an expiration date or when his ticket back home to America was. So I'm not sure how long he's going to be here, but
he's got no team to go back to, so maybe he's staying here.
Oh, I don't know. He seems to love America from listening to that pod. So yeah, that's where he stands. I wouldn't mind keeping in mind. That'd be a nice option just to have the numbers.
Well, yeah. I don't think we had anyone else new.
Din Blacker, second debut.
Yeah, well, he's not new.
Second debut.
He actually came on, so it's an upgrade on last season.
Yeah, it was late. Too late to really affect anything much in the game in terms of result. But yes, he did come on. He came on for more than 5 minutes, so that is a change. So yeah. Who else? We had Johnny Williams and Max Page finished the bench, so that was everyone then.
I thought one thing I did notice, Ellis Mee's aerial skills looked better than they did at the end of last season. He took a couple of very impressive high balls.
Yeah, that was something we were actually talking about during the game. He did look like he'd done a bit of work.
Got a try as well.
You can't go wrong when you get a try. Yeah, we all like Ellis. We like the way he plays. I'm intrigued to see how our back three changes and progresses over the season, because we are so stacked there.
But at the moment, I don't think you can change it. I don't know, John. What do you think? We've talked about this for ages. What's our best back three? Is it the one that we played at the weekends?
I think it's certainly got a right to be there. I mean, Blair Murray is very solid. I don't see how changing it around for the sake of changing it around would do anything.
I think Tommy Lewis is the big one, who's kind of the guy who at the moment you can't see getting a chance, but that's harsh because I think he would add something. I think if one of the boys gets a knock, you'd bring Tommy in.
Oh, 100%. Tommy is next one to fly in personally for me, just because of how good he was doing towards the end of his returning season. Ellis Mee has to thank Tommy a lot, because it is that injury that ultimately gave Ellis his chance to show how good he is. Obviously, we have to deal with international call-ups and things like that, so rotation does need to come into it. I mean, I do think that, obviously, Tommy Rog and Blair Murray are bang on. They are our best. They are two of our best back three. I'm not. Ellis is there right now. I don't know where Tommy Lewis is. If he's anywhere near where he was when he was last firing for us, then it is a big call. But I think we've got 4 frontline back 3 players that are interchangeable. And I think we should probably look to do that to keep everybody fresh throughout the season. We're not going to get
Max Page can drop in there as well.
Exactly. We're not going to get as much luck with injuries as we did last season. Well, I'm hoping it was less luck and more the investment in the recovery equipment and ideology. Then we've also got the likes of Jack Davis that has shown repeatedly at the SRC level that he is a class above. We just brought Ewan Jones in, the former England under-20s fullback. Yes, Ewan Jones played for England. Unbelievable. But he showed a fair bit of class on the weekend on his debut for Carmarthen Quins. And obviously we've got a lot of, other academy talent there, like Yori Badam. We've spoken about a fair bit before he had an ACL injury last January. We've had a couple of new boys come into the senior academy this year. Thomas Williams, who's playing for the Gwents, he scored an absolute blinder against Cardiff during their televised match.
Well, on that note, shall we move on to the community section then?
Yeah, because he scored another try because he's amazing. All right, then I'll share the screen. He's cut me dead. I think he wants to end this a bit early tonight. He seems to be in one of their moods. I don't know. What do you think? It's a long day. He doesn't want to talk crap. All right then. So sharing my screen. So sorry, your audio listeners, but you don't get to see this as of right now. So it was a mix of some league and cup action this past week. So start up in Super Rugby Cymru as always. This is the first of the double header round. So Carmarthen Quins won 24-12 at home against Pontypool. 24-0 up at half. Yeah, 24-0 up at half time, and then the heavens opened. Pontypool actually scored their second try with the very last play of the game, so it was 24, either 24-5 or 24-7, literally well into the red. We had Ben Williams, Ellis Price, Thomas Williams, who bagged a try, Ellis Price, 3 conversions and a penalty. Ewan Jones starting. We had Oshan Williams and Gabriel McDonald featuring for the first time this season on the bench. Obviously, they've been up with the senior Scarlets during what we class as pre-season. Llandyfri travelled up to RGC and got a 41-31 point win. So, nice 5 points, not quite the 6 that the SRC offers. But there we go. So we had Dylan Alford, we had Dan Gemin, who's part of our wider academy squad. And then on the bench, we had Tom Phillips and Jack Pritchard, both young props. We had Kai Jones, young lock, played for Wales 18s last season, looked outstanding during the Under-18s festival. I think he may still be 17, not 100% sure on that. We then had Tian Sparrow, Stephen Jack Jones, and Griff Watkins. So, 6 Scarlets on the bench. So, they secured that win. And a few of their names played for the first time. So, first time this season, Kai, Tian, Steph, and Griff. Brilliant. Let's hope we see them in more of their 23s as we go forward. So they fixtures for this week, the exact opposite. So Quins are travelling to Pontypool and Llandyfri host RGC. Down in the Premiership, we had cup action. So Llanelli Wanderers beat Narberth 26-25. And Llangennech went down 19-50 at home to Merthyr. That leaves Wanderers as our only side left in the Premiership Cup. It's going to be tough going, but we believe in Wanderers. In the league action now, this coming Saturday, Llangennech are hosting Neath. And their own doubleheader, Llanelli Wanderers get to travel to Narberth into the Championship Cup. And John, this isn't very good. Plymouth conceded a walkover to Kenfigil. Now, obviously, you a boy plays for the age grade of Crymych. Do you know anything about the seniors? Is there anything going on with there?
Not as much as I'd like to know, but yes, it was a bit of a disaster.
Yeah. It can't be up. There's been plenty of walkovers, unfortunately, in the cup this past weekend. The other result, we had Newcastle Emlyn winning 23-8 against Gleneath. So that means we've only lost Crymych. We still have Ammanford and Aberystwyth involved, thankfully. So back into league action, we got Ammanford at home against Kenfig Hill. Newcastle Emlyn travelled to Gosignon, and Crymych travelled to Gowerton. Into the Division 1 Cup, Felinvol lost 31-19 away to Aberafon Green Stars. Kidwelly 31-14 winners at home to Skewan. Larne 17-20 loss at home against Abercrave. Hendy winning 19-11 away to Nantefellon. Swansea Upland 29, Tenby 33. Hell of a game that must have been. Fair play to Tenby for going through. And St Clair's winning 41-26 away to Astrid Ginlais. Back into league action in One West this weekend. Felinvol at home to St Clair's. Kidwelly at home to Swansea Uplands. Lampeter travelling to Larne. Buddyport travelling to Wine something in Swansea. I'm not pronouncing that anymore. I just give up. Wine place. And Hendy host Tenby down into the Division 2 Cup. I want to make sure I'm there. There we go. So Tikrois conceded a walkover to Lacha, which hurts. It really hurts, especially because it's Lacha. But Bryn 41-19 winners away to Mumbles. Get in there, you Greens. Let's keep going. We had a couple of games in 2 West as well. Fishguard against Betters. Fishguard against Betters was postponed. Nankeredig 49-34 winners at home to Whitland, and a 27-all draw for Pringles, Pontedilais, and Abereyron. So fixtures in 2 West this week, we got Abereyron at home to Carmarthen Athletic, Betters at home to Lacha, Nankeredig travelling to Pencloud, to Croesus home to Pontedilais, and Whitland hosting Fishguard. 2 West Central, Bryn Aman are away to Morriston. Division 3 Cup, Haverford went down 26-19 away to Bryn Coch. Llandilo 30-29 winners away to Carmarthen. Narberth Athletic 22-25 loss at home to Resolvan. Milford conceding a walkover to Ton Mawr, and Tumble winning 20-0 away to Trimsaran.
A few walkovers this week, mate.
Yeah, it's not great. Like when you just withdraw from the cup instead of conceding a walkover. I personally would prefer to do that. Plus, it helps when they do win the draw. You know, if enough teams say, "Look, we're not gonna do it. We can't guarantee the boys," then they may just be a full round of 32 from the off, which would be better for everyone instead of having this. Let's work out how many we need to bloody remove to get into our nice numbers. So there was meant to be a fixture in 3 West, but Neyland Amman United was postponed. Games for this week: Huw's New Dock Stars travel to Amman United, Cardigan at home to Tumble, Haverford West at home to Neyland, Milford Haven hopefully travel to Narberth Athletic, and Trimsaran at home to Llandilo. Division 4 Cup, so Newcastle Elm Dreigiau 31-14 winners away to Binya. Llangwm conceding a walkover to Pembroke. St David's losing 15-0 at home to Pennebank. Llanybydr conceding a walkover to Cefn-Nathan, and Llantybi conceding a walkover to Pontyberem. Not great seeing all these walkovers, but it is what it is. Game in 4 West A, Crymych Tairw and Tenby Athletic was postponed. Fixtures for 4 West A this week. We got Pembroke Dock Harlequins at home to Pontyberem, Llanybydr travelling to St David's, Llangwm travelling to Crymych Tairw, and Tenby Athletic at home to Newcastle Emlyn Dreigiau. In 4 West B results, we got Llangadog 23-12 winners at home against Furness, and Pont Yates winning 35-31 at home against Pantyfunan. Fixtures now in 4 West B this coming Saturday. We got Binney at home to Pont Yates, Furness at home against Full Bay, Tregaron travelling to Llandybi, Llangadog heading to Pantyfunan, and Pennebank hosting Cefn-Nathan. We had some Dewar Shield action as well, if it'd let me do it, but I don't think it's going to. Is it going to be nice? Is it going to be nice? Why you not letting me do it? You still see, boys? Or is this?
Yeah.
Phil Cecil, why are you being a funny bugger?
He's talking to his Excel sheet, people.
I am talking. It won't let me change the shield, the screen. Well. Let's just stop shading then, and that'll be that. And now it's letting me change. What a surprise! So we had a big one. We had up in the Shield West, Llanelli against MMAD, which MMAD won 22-19 with the last play of the game, apparently. Ceredigion 32-7 winners away to Swansea East, and Carmarthen going down 36-20 away to Swansea West. Down in the bowl, Pembrokeshire 131-10 at home against Neath. So, 3 games in now, tables are looking set. Mynydd Mawr are, undefeated. Ceredigion still undefeated, only playing the 2 games, where Mynydd Mawr have played the 3. Pembroke have lost that 1 game, which was away to Swansea Valley. So, they're in a good position. I don't know if they're going to step up and be in that Morgan Griffiths plate, but who knows? They might still be able to make that jump. But that is everything from your community update this week, which now leads us on to only one thing to discuss. Galway, Saturday evening. Anyone feeling confident?
I just don't like. I don't like being in this situation of like, when's the first win going to come? The kind of, because last season it took until the 3rd or 4th game. I don't want to be in the situation again where I'm like spending week on week coming onto this excusing losses. But then it just feels like Connacht away is one of those ones where they're not a top team. Some people talk about Connacht like it's still 2016. They're not a top team. Yeah, they've got a new coach in. But still, nobody wants to go to Connacht away. Everyone's like, no. Goodness sake.
I wanted to go to Connacht away. I just couldn't convince the missus.
I mean, obviously, Galway's beautiful and we all love going there, but it's just one of those games, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be a tough place to head out to. I mean, they did get a 5-point win this week, 26-15 at home against Benetton. As always, we know Benetton are no mugs anymore. I feel like we keep saying that more or less every week. But I haven't watched their game, so I can't.
Got a good attack, all told. Supposedly their attack is good and the defense is a bit iffy. They haven't strengthened that much in terms of signings, but they got a new coach in, so
fun, absolute fun. So let's have a quick look at it. So it seems most of the tries came. Well, it seems like an unequal split. So 2 from the forwards, 2 from the backs, and no penalties. So, Benetton scored a try in the 80th minute, so they were 26-8 going into the red. So they were very comfortable winners in this game. So I will always have confidence that we can beat anybody. I don't see any reason why we can't beat Connacht, especially now 1 game further in. We've made, let's say we take those 3 try scoring opportunities. We've had them. We need to learn. We can work on them. The tap and go, which, where we ended up going backwards. I do think that's more down to Niall Scannell's injury, because we had momentum before that, and the break for 5 minutes or so just absolutely killed any momentum we had.
And the TMO check for no reason. Checking nothing.
There were so many of them. It was really weird.
I think if a TMO dials in and then they decide there's nothing doing, the TMO should get tasered.
TMO should get tasered.
Just a little zap, just enough to make them really think hard about the net before they decide to pipe up again.
So we need to be very, very specific about this, because we don't want a death on our hands. What sort of voltage are we talking about?
Well, I don't know. I'm not expert enough to put it in terms of voltage, but not so much that he's going to knock them off their chair. Okay, but enough to make it go, ah!
So what's police grade?
I got no
for some reason, I got 10,000.
People do die from police tasers.
Exactly.
be
So
careful.
it needs to be weaker than that. I got 10,000 in my head for some reason, but that would just be, an image from Jurassic Park or something still in my head where the kid's like, "Rrr."
Or slap him with the fish. Slap him in the face with the fish.
Slap
That'll
him in
do.
the face with a fish. That's
Hey,
what
that
fish?
works.
What
Yeah.
fish though? Because I mean, if
I'm
you slap him with
thinking
if you
a
slap him with
haddock.
a haddock, okay. Because I was thinking if it's tuna, you might break his bloody neck, like especially if it's still frozen off a truck. You might just sound like
A whale shark. No, don't slap him with a whale shark. No, don't. But at the same time, don't slap him with a sardine either. That'd be a waste of time.
What about a swordfish?
Don't slap him with swordfish.
No. This is some real hard hitting
Right
journalism.
in at Saucepans and Sidesteps, wherever we are. What kind of fish
So
should they
on
slap
socials,
CMOs with?
what's your fish of choice for hitting the TMO?
Yes,
and it has to be an actual fish from the sea. We don't want any disgusting comments, please.
and keep it sensible in terms of what is a fish. Like, don't say jellyfish, right? That's just silly. Don't say an octopus.
So it got to be like a fish with fins.
Yeah, we're not slapping anybody with an octopus.
I mean, maybe like shoot them with squid ink. Would that be an option? Hold this like sort of a shotgun and go, boom. Is that an option?
It's an option.
It's not. Oh, there we go. So we got squid ink shotgun. That's now HG has confirmed it. So
But yeah, anyway, Scarlet's by 2.
Scarlet's by 2. But what are we expecting to see? Despite the 2, other than the 2 changes that were made late to the 23, are we expecting any changes? Like I'm a little bit concerned.
I hope Sammy's fit. Like, did you notice that when he clashed heads with Johnny, you could hear it on the ref mic? Watching it back, you could hear it go. It's smashing each other. And
I'm gonna have to skip that bit now.
He smashed his face and he was all bleeding all over the place. So hopefully he's all right to play this game.
Because he was holding his nose straight after, but I'm sure there was like a cut above his eyebrow as well or something. It just did not look great. So we're hoping Matthias and Lousy, for whatever reasons you dropped out, you are fit and firing and come back in. Because they are 2 big carriers for us. They can be both absolutely destructive at times, which I'd like to see more from Kemsley in that aspect. I know how great of a scrummager he is. I want to see some more of these barnstorming hits going in. I want to see that 5-meter tap, Kemsley on his own, and just take about 3 men over the line with him. That's what we want. So, okay, Dwayne, all your tactics of the 5-meter tap and go, throw him out the window. Kemsley on his own, just get him through. That's all we're working with.
Well, I'm an eternal optimist. I think it's going to be Scarlets by a try at least. I think by at least 7.
At least 7. Oh, I'd like to be in the same boat as you. I'm probably. Look, I have full confidence we can win. I have full confidence we can get 4 tries, at least 4 tries. But new combinations, these new players bedding in, mistakes do happen. Obviously, there's not a great deal of new players, but there are still some. I think it's going to be Scarlets by 5. I think. Is it any change you'd like to make to our 23? Like I know we spoke a bit about Tristan Davis. I mean, do we go with Douglas at 6 and have 2 back row forwards on the bench again?
I don't like that as a policy. I'd like to have a lock on the bench. If we have Douglas at 6, I want to see Jack Price on the bench, please.
But he's another one that's currently. He was named injured. The team sheet came out last week.
So we've got 3 fit second rows in the whole world.
Well, technically 2, because obviously Sam Lousy, we don't know the score of them.
Oh, for crying out loud!
You remember what we said on our depth chart?
Yeah.
But one good thing is an academy lock made his return from injury this weekend. With Leslie Wanderers, Sam Williams.
Oh yeah, well he's played for the Wands. I didn't realise. Chuck him in.
I know he's played in That's the Premiership. He's played in the Premiership. He's definitely ready for URC rugby. Definitely ready. Let's get him up there. Is he a Quinn or is he an Athletic? He's Athletic, he is. He's Carmarthen Athletic boy. I want to see him with Carmarthen Quins first, but sometimes beggars can't be choosers. It's what it is. Do we have anything else to talk about? Oh yeah, please like, share, subscribe, all that. Hype. Do we know what the hype does yet?
Many very important things.
Many very important things.
Makes the world go round.
Makes the world go round. Wow. Sorry, flat earthers. It does go round. Yeah. So we've come to an end of another exciting, babbling episode. Probably slightly over an hour now, so apologies if we've taken a little bit too long for your liking. It was our chat about food at the beginning. It really was, wasn't it, Huw?
Yes.
So thank you, boys, for joining me. John, thank you, and your boy for being ST holders and really, giving that feedback of what it's like being back at the park. Absolutely love that. Thank you to everyone that's listening, and we will do it all again next week, celebrating a fantastic 5 points against Connacht. So, good night. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.